Okay. Everyone, so we'll be continuing from the point that we left off yesterday. So just to have a brief probably of what we saw yesterday. So let me share my screen. So everyone is able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What we saw yesterday was we saw that there are four different types of scaling mechanism. One is the most common or the basic scaling mechanism, which is the fleet management scaling system, wherein if either your machine goes down or in case something untoward happens to your particular the network that you have set up in one particular availability zone or something. So to manage those kinds of untowards incidents, fleet management scaling is one of the most important kind of scaling, which helps to avoid or to ensure that your system is always up and running. So fleet management scaling will take care of all those kinds of incidents. Now apart from that, we also discussed about the other type of scaling, which is the scheduled scaling, wherein you can specify when do you need a new instance to be added, or when do you want the new the instances to go down, depending on your use case, of course. So this is with respect to schedule scaling. And then we saw dynamic scaling, which is as we discussed, like we did not see a practical case use case yesterday. We just discussed it on a case basis, but today we'll see the practical purposes of each of them, apart from the predictive scaling, of course. So with respect to dynamic scaling, we discussed like there are certain scaling policies which are available, and these scaling policies becomes the basis for how you want your infrastructure instances to either scale up or scale down based on the metrics that you might have defined. So this is what we discussed. Of course, predictive scaling is there, but predictive scaling requires a period of time across which it actually goes through a learning cycles, prepares a model out of it, and then it starts taking a decision. In the meantime, when it goes through that learning cycle, of course, dynamic scaling is the one who will have the front seat access, and dynamic scaling will be the one which will be driving. And once this has sufficient information and finds out, okay, my whatever the decisions I'm taking is appropriately correct, which is on par with dynamic scaling, predictive scaling will take the front seat. So basically this is the four different types of scaling that we have seen. So with respect to yesterday's session, anyone has any doubts or issues, any questions that you might want to clarify?
No,
Not
Prashant,
from my
not as
side.
of now.
Okay, sure. So, just to continue, so yesterday you were able to try the fleet management scaling, right? If you would have, had the chance to go and check, I hope everyone could, manage this. Shutting down and automatically it will bring it up. Just to view those, kind of incident related risk, you could just see, you would have seen it, if you would have gone and checked it out. So continuing from that particular point of time, today be going to see we'll see one particular example for a schedule scaling and then a dynamic scaling. Uh, so if that is fine, we'll just go into the console and start checking this out. So shall we go ahead and go there, since we do not have any doubts?
Yeah. Yeah, Prashant.
Okay, sure. So the first thing that we'll check is for scheduled scaling. So first thing, okay. So as we saw yesterday with respect to auto scaling groups, the basis for auto scaling groups is either a launch template or a launch configurations. So similarly, launch configurations is anyways, we have seen that what it does and what it is. So as we saw yesterday, I'll be continuing with launch templates as an example. So so right now, okay, I have already created actually two things. One is the yesterday's one that we had created, which is the demo, launch template. and this is the scheduled launch template. Actually, it's not much different. Basically, both the launch templates are same. I mean, it's the same thing. Only so there has been no change done on both the templates because it's just a template, right? Only thing that has been changed is the okay. Anyways, what I'll do is I'll create a launch template again just to show, like, I mean, nothing. There is no change as such. So I'll just select this just so that we are on the same page. I'll just delete this one.
I guess we can continue with the template, Prashant. It will save some time, right?
Okay. So
Yeah.
if everyone is fine, then we can continue with this because it's the same template. There is no
Yeah.
changes. We have used the same instance type, same things, etc. Only thing is if okay, but that would be for another example. You can add user data, which I was planning to add in this particular thing. But anyways, we can
I,
log in.
co- I covered the topic while giving EC2 demo.
Okay, fine. Then I
Yeah.
think we can just log into the instance and then we can directly try it out. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so then I'll be continuing with the existing launch template itself. I hope that is fine. Okay, so since that is fine, I'll just go here. So my launch template has the same set of instance, like whichever is the free tier ones that have been selected. And I'll just go and create an auto scaling group. Now first we are doing the schedule thing. So I'll say this is an example for schedule demo auto scaling group. And then I have to select a launch template. So I'll say the same launch template, it has populated the details. So this is like AMI ID, the free tier instance, whichever is there. And then the T2 micro. And then this is the launch template ID, the security groups, and the key pair name, which was generated as part of the launch template. So these are the information that will get populated. I will just go ahead. Then I'll say I don't need any special purchase options or instance types. So I'll go with the option saying adhere to the launch template, whatever I have specified. The default VPC, currently I'm using the default VPC itself. So I'll just select these three subnets for my current auto scaling group, and then I'll say next. So once you have finished, the third step is the advanced option. So yesterday what we saw was we just did not use the load balancers, but for today's particular use case, we'll just say we'll go with the load balancers. Now, when I enable the load balancer, it will give me two options. One is the classic load balancer and the other one is the application load balancer or network load balancer. So classic load balancer is the older load balancer versions which was there, but mostly now we'll go with the new version itself, which is the application load balancer or network load balancer. Now, in order to do that, we need a target group, which I mean, because what happens is every time you spin up a new instance, right? Then when you're using a load balancer, there needs to be a target group because target group specifies, the group of instances which will be spawned should be under a target group so that load balancer can communicate with that with those instances via the target group. So the target group becomes kind of like a wrapper around these instances, a packaging kind of thing. And load balancer doesn't have to maintain all the details with respect to instances. All those informations will be maintained at the target group level. I hope that is clear for to everyone. Okay. So with respect to target group, I will also show you what is the target group I have selected or created. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it's basically an empty target group. There is nothing that I have specified as part of this target group. So when we go and create this target group, right? So this information will automatically come in, and these informations are also automatically whatever the default option was there. We are using the same. Only thing is I have reduced the polling interval to 10 seconds, and there's nothing. I mean, there is no targets which has been registered. Nothing. None of the details whichever you usually specify have been mentioned, because right now what we need for an auto scaling group is an empty target group, because creation of instances and registering those instances with the target group will be done by the auto scaling group. Okay, I can create one particular target group as an example. Just quickly, I can create that. So we are creating a target group currently for the instances, right? For holding the set of instances that will be created. So I'll just say this is my demo target group. The port and everything will remain the same. Your VPC remains the same, the default one. And then you will have the HTTP, this particular thing, health check options. So here by default, the time interval between the health check options will be 30 seconds. So I'll just reduce it to 10 seconds. So this is the only change that I have done. This is the healthy threshold. Like it basically polls that particular target group or the instances to see what should be the number of consecutive health checks that it should pass to be declared as unhealthy. So suppose my instance becomes unhealthy. So what I will do is whatever the number that you have mentioned here, right? So I'll poll it. So first time it gave me healthy, second time it gave me healthy. So like that, it has to give me 5 continuous healthy. Only then I'll declare that particular instances as healthy. That is what healthy threshold says. Unhealthy threshold is like what, how many number of times do I need to get unhealthy before I say okay, my before I declare my instance as healthy. So similar to the above one, this is the other option, unhealthy threshold. I'll poll the instance twice. If I get 2 consecutive unhealthy, I'll declare the instance as unhealthy. You can change the number as well here also. And then this is the amount of timeout. So suppose if you don't get a response within 5 seconds, it will be declared as a timeout. And then this is the interval between two pollings. Like we do it 5 times, right? So the total length of this thing will be 50 seconds. Every check that will happen will be with an interval of 10 seconds. And this is the success code that we are expecting. So if you have an application server hosted over there which is running on certain port number and on a particular path, and you are returning a different success code, maybe 201, which is explicitly set up for this health check monitoring, then you will have to specify it as 201. It's basically depends on what you're going to do. And tags, as you know, it's a same common thing. Like you can add tag your resource with whatever the name that you want, so that it will be easier for filtering. So I do a next. Once I do a next, this is what it is, register the targets. So I won't be doing any registration of the targets because this is purely for my auto scaling group. This is not something that I am going to be right now using directly. uh, so everyone is fine with creating an empty target group? I mean, till this particular point, is it clear?
Yes, Prashant.
Okay, so this is how I had also created one empty target group for named this one. So now we have, and so what are the things that we have right now? So we said we will go with an application load balancer or a network load balancer. Now the prerequisite for having a load balancer is you need to specify a target group. We created an empty target group. Of course, if I refresh, I'll get the other one as well. So I'll select the one that was there previously, which is the empty target group. Then I'll say, so basically what was happening in the previous health checks option was you only used to check the health check for EC2 instances directly. But now if you want to check also the load balancers health check, then you can do that as well. And I'm going to reduce this to probably 10 seconds. And this is for the additional settings for monitoring in the CloudWatch and all, which Harish will be taking a separate session on this particular thing.
Yeah.
So I'll move forward with this. Okay. Now, since I'm doing a particular, like we'll be doing two set of things. One is for auto scaling thing, and the other is for this one. Sorry, for schedule, and the other one is for the dynamic one. So in this particular case, I have a desired capacity as one, minimum capacity as one, and maximum capacity as one. I have not changed this. I'll have it as is. Now I don't need a particular this target tracking scaling policy because this is for dynamic scaling. So as of now, I have kept this as is without any change, and I'll just go to next. With respect to notifications, this will be covered by Harish as part of another session, wherein he'll cover all the SNS and SES related topics over there. I'll be skipping the notifications part as well. Now coming to tags, whatever resources that were generated as part of this, if you want to add some tags, you can add it. So I'll just say name, and then I'll say scheduled ASG. So this will be tagged to the new instances that will be created, and then I'll say next. So this is the review page. You will have all the details with respect to this, and then you can just go through this, and then you can say create an auto scaling group. Now this is the first step. Like this is exactly the same thing what you saw yesterday. So there is no change with respect to the process.
Hello.
Yeah. We're just waiting for the instance to come up, so you can go check the activity. So it has launched a new instance. You can go to the instance tab, refresh this. So we have a scheduled which is generated. It is initializing. So once the state, so in the meantime that it is completing the status checks. So as we saw yesterday, we had the details tab in the auto scaling group, which gives you all the details with respect to your launch template, the network, the load balancers, whatever you have configured, everything will be available in the details tab. And this one is one of the important tabs, the desired capacity, minimum capacity, and maximum capacity. Desired capacity is at any particular given point of time, how many instances do you want to run? And minimum capacity is what is the minimum that needs to be running, and then maximum capacity. Now activity tab will give you the list, like the set of activities that are happening as part of this particular thing. And here this is any again regarding SNS and all, in case if you want to trigger a notification and all. Now coming to this particular tab, which is where we are going to do our scheduled action. Now let's take yesterday's use case for example. Now we want to set up a particular scheduled scaling kind of thing, wherein every day after 8 p.m. The instances should go down. All the instances whichever has been generated as part of this auto scaling group. So we will be taking that as an example. If everyone is fine till now, we can go forward with creating a scheduled action.
It's okay, Prashant.
Okay. So we'll be going with the yesterday's example. We'll create a scheduled action over here. So in the scheduled action section, we'll be just going there and we'll be creating a scheduled action. Now, as part of the scheduled action, you need to specify a name. Basically, the activity that we are trying to do is we are trying to sunset our instances, right? So I'll say sunset instances. Okay. So now as part of this particular schedule action, it will ask you again, what is the desired capacity, what is the minimum, what is the maximum. Now in my case, I'm sunsetting, right? So I'll say my desired capacity is 0. Okay. Now what is the minimum that I want is 0. What is the maximum is 1. Fine. I hope this particular part is clear.
Prashant, why 1 for maximum?
Because I mean you can make that also 0, but usually maximum doesn't affect. What affects is the minimum and desired, because maximum is just a value. If you set your desired to 0, right, then that means you are not launching any instances. Maximum will only be, so I'll tell you when and where this particular 3 attributes will be used. Maximum attribute, it only takes effect when you are increasing or when you are scaling out actually. You're able to visualize. So in case if say I have set my maximum to 2, my desired to 1, and my minimum to 1. So now what happens in this particular case, I'm saying if after if my application crosses a certain threshold, then add new instances to it. But how do I know how many instances to add? Or I can add n number of instances. Then how do I know, how do I set a limit to this? That is done by this max field. So it doesn't matter what you do here, but max field will come into picture. You can give 0 also, it should not be a problem. The reason I kept it as max as 1 itself is because we maintained the same set of max configuration when we created our auto scaling group. The only time the max field will be used is when you're scaling your application to a higher level. Is this fine, or does this answer your question?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And minimum is used whenever you're scaling down. So these two fields are like that. So when you're scaling up, max will be consulted, and when you're scaling down, minimum will be consulted. And desired is at any given point of time, what is the time that needs to be at any given point of time, how many instances needs to run. That is the desired capacity. So what I am saying is, after 8 o'clock, I don't want any of my instances which is related to this auto scaling group to be running. That's why I'm setting my desired capacity to 0. You can set this particular thing using a cron expression as well. So it will accept a cron like this, or for the sake of this particular demo, I'll say just once and I'll give the time.
Yeah.
And this cron expression, I think Harish, you might have
Cron,
already...
you skip it up. I'll cover it in SNS or while giving CloudWatch logs.
Okay, sure. So okay, just to give a brief, cron is like basically Monday to, like, this is an expression kind of thing which you will have here. You just need to give specific values which will at the end of the day it will relate to how much time or when every day when do you need to do this activity kind of thing. So right now we are not doing it on a regular basis, so we will only do it once. So I'm just saying the recurrence is only once. So because it's for the sake of demo. So let me open another tab, because what we need to do is for now I think we are on Monday 24th. Okay, I need another tab. Okay, let me just check UTC time, because the time it is actually accepting is UTC. So it is 12:26 p.m. 24th of August. So 12:26 p.m. it is. So 24th August 12:26. So let me put it as 12:26. Let's see what is the date. So let's create it once. It's a
Make it 12:28, 12:27.
sorry.
Make it
Oh yeah,
12:27. Yeah.
yeah.
12,
This is just
yeah.
so this shows 5:58 p.m. So right now it is 5:56. So this is what it is. Okay.
Into
So we'll have
2
to wait
minutes.
for another 2 minutes, and post that this will take effect. So we can go to the activity tab. So currently the instances are all fired up and the checks have all passed. So now, so similar to that, you can add multiple number of scheduled actions. Okay, you can also add a sunrise instances action. So in that particular case, you can give probably after another 2 minutes, okay, another 5 minutes or something, bring up instances. So now till the time this activity takes place, what I'm going to show you is basically what happens when you actually schedule this particular action. So when you actually schedule this action and your criteria matches what you have specified here, now what happens here is when the content matches, right? So you remember at the time when you actually created your auto scaling group, you gave one desired capacity minimum and maximum. So whatever the values that you have given at that particular point of time, a desired capacity minimum and the maximum will get overridden with this value. This will override those values, and this is the values that will be taking effect after that. Now once you give a sunrise here, sunrise or say suppose sunrise instances, and you add one more thing, then in that particular case this will override the previous one. So we can, so as we saw, cron expressions will then help you on this particular basis, to do it on a recurring basis. Any questions with respect to how it works? The scheduling?
Prashant, just
Yeah.
sorry. So on the cron side, so is it? Can we give only one cron at a time, or when one background action at a time, or it can be a batch of cron as well?
See, when you say cron, right, a batch of cron, it cannot be a batch of cron for one particular action. One single action will have one cron. That's how it works. But you can have multiple actions. Now I have given one, right? So suppose I have given a cron expression for this, wherein I am working on weekdays, say Monday to Friday, after 8 o'clock, do the sunset instances. Okay. Now you can create one more create schedule action. In this particular case, you can select the cron, give one more cron expression here, which will be for sunrise, for Monday to Friday again. So your two set of cron expressions, one cron expression for sunset instance and one cron expression for sunrise instance, will be available in these two different scheduled actions.
Okay.
Okay. So if you see here, the time now is 6. We have already crossed. So it's executing this scheduled action sunset instances, and that is what the next activity log is, which it executed at this particular point of time. And as part of this, auto scaling group constraints have been reset to min 0, max 1, and desired 0.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I go and check the instances, so this instance will be terminated. So this is how you control the instances using a scheduled action. So is this clear?
Yes, Prashant.
Okay. So once that schedule, since I only added the scheduled action as a one-time activity, once that scheduled action is completed, it will be removed from the list. If you set it as a recurring thing, then it will persist here with every day. You will see the recurrence here, and what is the recurrence logic, on what basis it will be happening. So this is for scheduled actions. You can add multiple actions, as long as see, and one more thing that you need to take care of is, when you are doing this, you can add as many number of scheduled actions as you want, with different cron expressions validating those actions. But one thing that you always need to ensure is, those scheduled actions should not interfere with each other, or they should not be overlapping each other. Is that okay?
Yes, Prashant. Prashant, is there any way that because if we have scheduled some action for once,
Mm-hmm.
and you said that it will not be available later, it will not be visible here, it will be removed.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there a way to just retrieve it later on, just for some verification purposes or something, or?
You can get them on CloudWatch logs, Sailesh, because we have not
Okay.
activated anything in for CloudWatch under activity, so it will be not
one
required on.
one other important thing, in case if you want to see what has happened, is the activity tab. Of course, you can just go
Yeah.
to the activity tab. You can see what this thing it has executed, and what was the different parameters that was given. And of course, when it was executed, you will find it at this particular moment of time itself. This will give you an indication of when it was configured to go on.
Okay.
Okay. And with respect to what was the setting with respect to the min, max, and desired thing, that you will find it as part of the next log when it is terminating the EC2 instance. So this is the thing, changing the desired capacity from 1 to 0. Any other questions?
No, Prashant.
Okay. So if we are clear with this particular case of scheduled actions, and of course, as I said, do remember your scheduled action should be mutually exclusive of each other. You cannot have one scheduled action overlapping the other one. Otherwise, you will get errors. The one scheduled action which gets kicked off initially and which is already in the process, that one will continue, while the other one which is overlapping or it has to do something, it will be pushed off. It won't continue. It will be given an error saying already a particular thing is processed and blocked, and hence this is blocked. Okay. Okay. So
Yep.
okay. So I'll be moving forward with the next use case. So this was our scheduled demo auto scaling group for which we scheduled and then we removed it. So now let me create another auto scaling group, which is for the dynamic auto scaling group perspective.
Prashant, what was there was a scheduling policy, right? What was it?
Yes, that is what we'll be seeing in the dynamic case.
Okay.
Yeah, that schedule, always remember scheduling policy is always related to your dynamic auto scaling, this thing. Okay, so we'll see
Yeah.
it right away. So this is my dynamic auto scaling group. And then with respect to launch template, I said since the launch template is pretty common, so there is no need to change. It basically specifies what type of instances and everything. So we can just take this one and then we can say next. So VPC is the default one. I'll just select the first 3 subnets as usual, and then I'll just do a next again. Now for this particular thing again, so okay, I'll do one thing before going here. I'll since we have already started an ELB and ELB is chargeable, I'll just one second. I'll just delete the previous auto scaling group so that the ELB which was created for that particular thing is removed. So the previous ELB will be removed. So I'll just do an enable load balancer. So it will create an application load balancer for this particular auto scaling groups configurations or settings that we are doing. As far as the target group is concerned, it's anyways an empty target group, doesn't matter. So I will go with the previous one itself. I'll just select the schedule or the demo, whichever one you prefer. I'll select ELB health check monitoring as well. And then I'll set this to probably 10 seconds. And CloudWatch monitoring, anyways, I'm not enabling as of now. So here, when we come, so I say, so in all the previous cases, what we had done is we checked, okay, what is the desired capacity? We had kept all of it as 111. But in this particular case, for the dynamic case, what we'll be doing is the desired capacity is 1, the minimum capacity is 1, but the maximum capacity will increase to 2, because as as we discussed about this in the previous case, maximum capacity is always involved when it either scales or when it goes down. Sorry, only when it scales up. When it scales down, it is the minimum capacity that is taken into picture. So right now for this particular thing, since we will be scaling up and then we will be scaling down again, so I have set the maximum capacity as 2. That is the maximum number of instances that you can add here. Now with respect to scaling policy, which we had not touched till now, so we will be going with some scaling policy. We'll be setting some scaling policy because we are doing a dynamic thing. So what happens is, in order to dynamically resize our auto scaling group, we need to set a scaling policy. Now scaling policy, this is a it's usually called as target tracking policy, the one that we usually create. So here we have different metrics which are there. Now these metrics are like average CPU utilization, average network in bytes, average network out going out in bytes, and then the application request count per target, load balancer request count per target. So basically this is like the request coming in and the request going out successfully served. So this particular per target is being considered as a metric. So these are the 4 different metrics which are available. So this average network in bytes and all those particular things are like, this is to check the incoming traffic, and this is based on the outgoing traffic, and this is the average CPU utilization. So I'll be selecting this particular metric as my current value. Is that fine? I mean, any questions on the metric type?
No, Prashant.
Okay. So currently I'll be seeing, because for the current example, right, with respect to, if you want to go, check any of the other things, so what you will have to do is, you will have to simulate, a performance, you will have to take a performance testing tool, and then you will have to simulate a certain amount of, request, you will have to create bots and that particular thing, load balancer or some self test kind of tools you will have to create, configure and then do all those things. But the reason we selected this particular metric type is, we have one particular a software called Stress, which we can install in the EC2 instance that you're creating, and then you can run those particular, and you can run that particular EC2. You can run that Stress tool in your EC2 instance. It will put some load onto your instance. So in order to have a view on how exactly it is happening, we'll check this. I hope that is this okay with everyone.
Yep.
Okay, so this is like, okay, fine. So you have this particular thing here. So basically, you remember when we discussed, there is something like, we specified, we also discussed what would be the metric on the basis of which we decide how, when to scale and when to scale down. We said there is another metric called as time. So this is what is going to decide. So for now, for the purpose of our sake, I'll say observe this particular thing for 60 seconds before you warm up a new this thing and add a new instance and add. The current pattern, which is your CPU utilization should be above 50%. Observe this particular pattern for 60 seconds. You can increase the timer as well. Observe this particular pattern for 60 seconds before you add a new instance into the current settings or the current cluster. Is this okay? This is the time metric that we discussed yesterday.
So
yeah,
in a nutshell, like say for example, whenever the CPU utilization reaches 50%, so for 1 minute it will wait, then it will do the specific scheduled action what you are going to decide to do. That's right.
yes. So basically, yeah, what you said. So in this particular thing is like, this is the combination that we have given, average CPU utilization, and we have said 50%. So rather than as soon as it immediately hits, we don't want to add another instance, right? So basically we will wait for 60 seconds and then we will start warming up our new instance and adding it. You can control this particular timing as well, the number of seconds. This is called as an observation period.
Prashant,
Yeah.
you have within the drop-down metric type drop-down, you have the fourth option of load balancer,
Right.
application load. So if we go with that option, then that number which you have given, like that target, sorry, 50%, how
Right.
that relate?
This
like
particular thing, right? So you will have to specify target group in that particular case. Once
Okay.
this particular thing is done, you will have to specify target group, and then here you will have to set a target value. So basically, whatever is coming in, whatever is going out, all those particular things can be estimated on the basis of percentage. So here, even when you see the monitoring graphs and all, right, they are all in a basis of 0 to 100%. So what application load balancer will have a certain capacity, right, which will be categorized as 100%. So based on the incoming request that it is currently handling, so if suppose the total capacity, maybe say suppose 1000 requests per second, but what is incoming is around say 90 requests which is coming in, and 900 requests are coming in, 900 requests are getting processed and they are going out. So in this particular case also, still it is 90%. So everything is calculated on the basis of percentage here.
Okay. Yep.
So even this particular case, even any particular thing you take, this target value will always be a metric in terms of percentage. once we go ahead, right, we will have the monitoring screen after this particular probably. Okay, we don't have an EC2 instance running as of now. Okay,
Yeah.
if you have seen any EC2 instance, right, if you go into that particular EC2 instance monitoring section, you will see all of those metrics whichever are there, right, they are from 0 to 1. Like it's basically 100% is the max value out of it. So every metric that is there, it's always in the basis of or on the basis of percentage. I think what you would have considered is when we select the last option, do we need to give the number of requests as a number or something like that, right? Was that your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is not the case. Every time what you say is, if my, because you do not know how much, what is the capacity of your application load balancer, right? How much it can handle.
Yeah, true. I understand now.
Yeah. So basically that's the reason we specify it as a matter of percentage, so that AWS automatically knows what is the max it can handle. And on that basis, it says, okay, if this percentage is crossed, then immediately it will go with the scaling policy that you have set.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Okay. So I'll,
Prashant,
yeah.
sorry, Prashant. What is that checkbox? Disable scale into create only. I mean,
Okay.
not able to
So
actually understand that. Huh?
currently what is happening is my scaling policy, which I have set, it works both ways. It's a bidirectional scaling policy. It will scale up as well as it will scale down in case the proper this metric condition is not met. But if you enable this particular option, then what you are saying is this policy is only set for a scale down, not for a scale up. Okay. uh, okay, so suppose right now what I have set my desired capacity as 112. Now what will happen is, say in certain situations, your user has come in, he says at any particular given point of time, I want 5 instances to be running, and that is the max, because I know that 5 instances, above 5 instances, my network or my CPU utilization cannot go above 5. That is the maximum that I'll allow you to go, and I'll set that particular thing as 5. So I'll say you start off with 5. I don't have any issues. But then what he will say is, in case if the network goes down or something, you can scale down, but you should not scale up again. That is the requirement. So maybe it's like for some kind of applications which has a shorter shelf life. Say suppose you have created an application which was only for the term wherein an event was happening. Say maybe any cricket event or a particular thing was going on. So you created an application, you deployed, you calculated the maximum number of instances that needs. Now what happens is, you won't keep track of exactly what happens after the event is done, because of course the number of people who will be coming to your website after that will go on decreasing, right? Will it ever increase after that? No, right? Once the event is completed. So what would you do in that particular case? Like suppose someone is automating on your website after the event is done, wouldn't and you have set this particular scaling policy to scale up as well as scale down as well. Now what happens if someone is automating and just trying out, learning something out in a automation scope? Then what will happen is, unnecessarily these things will go scale up, then again once they are done with their activity or something, it will again scale down. So unnecessarily there is a cost on you. So in order to avoid those kinds of things, you can set this particular option wherein it will not go for scaling. This particular policy is only applicable as a scale out policy. Is this clear?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Prashant.
Okay. So in our case, we are doing both. We are scaling in as well as we are scaling out right now. That's the reason we set this, the metrics for desired minimum and maximum based on this particular activity that we are going to be doing. So this is basically bi-directional that we are going to do. And if you just want a one directional that is only to be scaling out and not to be scaling in, then you need to just go for this, but you just need to enable this option. Once you have enabled this option, it will only be applicable for scale out, not for scale in. Okay. So moving forward, I won't be adding any notifications as usual. Tags, yes. I'll be saying so this is the name I'm giving for my instances. So next, so this is a summary of whatever I have done. So this is how the scaling policy will relate to. So if you can read it, target tracking policy, execution policy when it needs to execute, as required to maintain average CPU utilization at 50%, and then action, this will be the action that you need to verify, add or remove capacity units as required. Okay, if you had selected that particular option, it will be either add or remove.
Yeah.
And then this is the instances needed, 60 seconds to warm up before including in metric. And scale in currently is enabled because we did not select that option to disable scale in. Okay, so I'm just creating this auto scaling group, and as soon as I create this auto scaling group, an instance will be created over there. So this is the details. Again, going back to the activity tab. Yeah, till then we can just go to the monitoring tab and we can check this one. So if you see here, it's always 100, 0 to 1, 0 to 1. So basically you can consider this as basically in a graph of percentage. Any questions?
Select 1 hour, Prashant.
Which one? Okay,
Can
this
we
one.
select 1 hour for detail monitoring? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, currently the instance is not
Currently, it's
active.
yeah.
So once it is okay, it's launched now. Let's see the instances. So it is running. It is doing the status checks. In the meantime, let's just go and try to log in. So I have the PEM file in my this particular directory. So I'll just do an ls. So this is the PEM file that I had created for this particular launch template. So once this is ready, then you can just specify the to scale.
I guess you can log in, Prashant. It should be able. Yes.
Okay, so I'm into the instance as of now. So we'll be running those. These are the few commands for installing the stress application. So Harish, how do you share, Harish? Do we share in chat or you share it separately
No,
later?
I'll put in lab notes. That's one.
Okay, sure. So as part of this, I'll just
go as a sudo user.
Okay. So
basically we are installing the stress now. So once the stress is installed, so you can see it is complete, right, in down. So then you can type just stress.
And then just
Yeah, stress. Just type stress. And this will tell you how to use this tool. And below you can see example, right? Under the example, you can copy the same command, the stress, and it is in terms of seconds. Yeah, from there till the end. So now you can use this command, and you can put your either CPU usage or memory usage. For memory, you can refer to the document. Just Google like stress memory command. This is a command for CPU like stress CPU, and we are keeping load of 8 and input output of 4, and we are keeping for 2 VMs, and VM byte is 128 MB, and the timeout we are giving is since we have given to maintain to look out that 50 percentage of CPU utilization for 60 seconds, right? Here we will give stress for more than 100 seconds, so that our alarm will trigger whatever we have configured now, and the EC2 will be generated. So either we can give her 100 or 200% here.
100 seconds is approximately, and how much? Okay,
More than a minute, right? So 1.4.
so let's just give it as, or we'll put it as 180 seconds.
Yeah, 3
Yes,
minutes.
and for 3 minutes.
So
we'll
once we execute this one, so that now the load will be started, and the CPU utilization will get increased on this particular EC2 machine.
So we'll just
That's the
execute
working
this
model for
command.
stress. Yeah.
So it started this particular thing. Now once it has started, what you can do is you can just go, and as I said, we can go to our monitoring tab. This is this is the metric that it is showing for the auto scaling part. We'll just go to the EC2 part, and then if you see the stress, because of this particular thing, the CPU utilization has increased as of now. So this increase has to be there for at least 60 seconds. Only then post that it will add another instance to it. So probably we will have to wait for a minute or so. So you can check the metrics here. Harish, you want control of the screen?
Yes, please. So either you can see the monitoring of the CPU utilization either under EC2. So if you see the CPU utilization here, yeah. Or we can check under EC2 instances as well. So let me refresh this one.
I think it went up and came down again.
Yeah.
So we're trying to achieve the 50%, above 50% utilization.
Yeah, when the 50% of the CPU load is there, then this alarm status will trigger here. So here now it's none, right? So it should trigger the alarm. Prashant, can you check on this EC2 mission whether the command is still executing?
Okay, it completed.
Can you
for
run it?
180 seconds again.
Yeah, can you run it again, Prashant? Maybe you can increase some 300. Yeah.
All right. Okay, 1 second. I'll just increase it probably. Okay. So I'll just increase it. Should I put it? I'll keep it for
300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Can you check now in auto scaling group monitoring?
Monitoring EC2.
Yeah. So we're expecting to go it again up.
So TT4 as of now. It should persist for at least 60 seconds over there.
Yeah.
Even this spike was before, I think. It's around
Yeah.
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's not the latest one.
Yeah, this is not the latest one. The latest one is on the, you can just scroll towards the right. Yeah, this is the one at 84%,
Yeah.
what it is showing, right?
Yeah,
The
this
The
dot
is
dot.
on top, yeah.
Okay.
So hoping that that particular thing stays there for at least, let's see, the activity hasn't triggered yet.
Yeah. I guess still 1 minute that period is not. Yeah. I guess we can we make this big pressure?
No,
This
it is
CPU,
actually, which one?
this one, Uvin matrix.
No, the last one is actually increasing, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
So it reached at 100%, but
No, it's,
12:59.
yeah, let's,
12:59. Let's wait for 30 more seconds. Meanwhile,
you,
let's check in.
okay,
Yeah,
it
it already
already,
started.
can you go to the activity tab and this thing?
Yeah, control over
Okay,
operations.
yeah. So if you see the activity tab, you'll find this particular this thing saying there is an alarm triggered, which because of the scaling policy that we have set is in state alarm triggered policy tracking, changing the desired capacity from 1 to 2, and this
Yeah.
is what it is changing the capacity to. So once this is changed, your instance, you will have 2 instances over there.
So in this setup, even scale down should happen automatically, right?
Yes, but scale down will take a bit more time
5
as
minutes.
compared,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
We
as
kept
compared
300.
to, yeah, because it's more like you're removing a system out of your these things, right? Scaling
Correct.
in is pretty easy, but when
Yeah.
it comes to scaling out, it takes a bit more time as compared to scaling in. So if we just refresh, probably it should be up. So you should have 2 different systems running. So if you see, there are 2 different systems running with the same EC2 instance right now, a name. So this is about dynamic auto scaling. So once the CPU utilization goes down, post that it should automatically come down as well. Once it goes below 50%, of course, and for a certain number of duration. So right now it is still at the top part, even though it is, I think it's still running. So
I guess you can kill that Prashant.
the process, okay.
Yeah, control C.
I think we're not able to kill. It's not working. It's not responding actually.
Command C is not responding.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So anyways, continuing with this, so this is what basically it has already scaled out. So assuming it will come down in some particular time, once it comes down, once it goes down below 50%, you can after that check that like whether it is logging or not. All those particular things can be done at that particular time. So once it goes down, immediately another set of metrics will be triggered here, which says the alarm will be triggered saying it has gone below 50%, and now it will again remove one of these two instances.
Yeah.
So let me see if I can just close this and
So
reconnect back to the, sorry.
I guess we can skip that part because even after coming down, Prashant,
Okay,
the CPU percentage of 50, since we have given the period of 300 seconds,
right.
right? So we need to wait at least 5 more minutes
Hmm.
to remove the instance. So I guess you can try this one when you're doing the lab. If you have any issues, you can connect to me. So the scale down should happen as per this current setup, whatever we have. Okay.
So any questions till now with respect to this automatic scaling policy and everything? Okay, so
Prashant, I
now,
have a question.
yeah,
Like for example, initially we discussed like the sunset and sunrise, right? For example,
right.
you consider in the night times, uh, my load will be less, so that I configure one scaling action. What is that scheduled action for that?
Schedule action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will configure a scaling policy, sorry, scheduling policy also for that.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, if nighttime, if traffic or load goes up, will it override this dynamic action scaling will override this scheduling thing? Because in
Yes,
scheduling, I think we configure desired capacity like around 2 or 1, right?
right.
In that case, what happens?
So when you have multiple, see, you can add n number of scaling policies, whatever you want, you can add, but as long as it doesn't overlap each other. Now, in your case, in the case that you have brought up, right, you are adding one particular schedule scaling and the other one as a dynamic scaling. So in this
Yes.
particular case, it doesn't overlap with each other. So as part of the schedule scaling, if say at 8 o'clock you brought down one of your servers, you reduced one of your servers, say it was like three servers were running. You said in the night I just want one server to be running. So once you brought it, so the only one server will be running, and then after that your dynamic scaling, which you have already said, if the CPU utilization, so when I say CPU utilization, it is the average CPU utilization. Okay, average CPU utilization across all the instances which is present in that particular cluster. So at that particular point of time, after it, there is only one instance which is running. Now, using this dynamic scaling, what you have set is, if my this thing goes above 50% and you have given the max count, you have kept it as 3. So in case if there is a spike in your this thing after 8 o'clock, then dynamic scaling will come into picture and it will increase it after the set amount of warm up period that you have given.
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks. Good.
Okay. So this is coming down. Any other questions till then?
good for me, Prashant. Thank you.
Okay. So currently, I mean, the script that we were running, it has completed, and now the CPU utilization has gone back to 0 as of now. But still, it will take some time for it to, actually monitor this particular thing for a certain time frame, then trigger an alarm, and then go down. So it will take another 5 to 10 minutes for this to happen. And post that, what you will see is in the act, if you keep on, if you keep here, and if you keep refreshing after 5 to 10 minutes, you'll see that there is one more. Activity which is triggered, which is reducing the system which is in the cluster. That particular activity will be there, and then there will be a terminating operation for one of the instances. Okay. So any other questions? Oh yeah, and one more thing, just one last point before you leave. So your scaling policies, once you have set some scaling policy, right? It's the same tab wherein you set your scheduled scaling. Scheduled actions will be here, and then your scaling policies will be here. So you can add whatever number of scaling policies that you want. The one that we used was target tracking scaling. There are another two scaling policies which are there, which is step scaling and simple scaling. So when it comes to step scaling and simple scaling, you can give the scaling policy name, and then what happens is the reason I did not take it up as an example here today is because you need to know about CloudWatch for this particular section. So right now, as part of the previous scaling policy, the target tracking scaling is there. No, what we have done as part of this is we have set a metric, and what this metric does is it will trigger an alarm in CloudWatch, and based on that particular alarm that has been triggered, AWS will take, because this one you have already handed off to AWS by specifying a scaling policy under this particular thing. You have already told AWS what AWS needs to do on your behalf. Now, if you want to take control of what exactly needs to, happen, then you can go for step scaling or simple scaling. You can give a policy name, and then you can you put your own custom alarm in CloudWatch. Say suppose the same alarm that which AWS is adding on behalf of you, say suppose CPU utilization, then the same alarm you can add it into your CloudWatch, and that alarm reference you can give here. Now once you give the alarm reference, AWS will then monitor that particular alarm. So whenever that alarm gets triggered, this particular scaling policy will get triggered. So you can specify add, remove, or anything, whatever you want. This is kind of like a step by step. You can add it on that particular basis. Dynamic is like it will take a decision automatically whether to add or whether to remove or something. But if you want to do it specifically, or you want fine-grained control on top of it, then you can do it on your own using step scaling. You can add multiple steps after this particular things. And one more thing is the last one, which is the same as what you saw right now, but this is a one-time thing, only one step. Same thing for this also, you need a CloudWatch alarm. So basically you can set an alarm in your CloudWatch and track that alarm to your instance or to your particular auto scaling group metrics or EC2 metrics. And then based on that particular thing, you can go and just select this. You can just select that particular alarm that you have created in CloudWatch. So once you select that particular alarm, that alarm will become the reference for when this action needs to be taken. Is that fine?
Yep.
Okay. This was one point that I wanted to specify. Let's see the activity tab if it has reflected as of now. So no. So it will take a few more minutes for it to go back. Okay. Any questions with respect to anything? I mean, probably I think this will take a few moments.
It came back, but it will take some time.
Yeah, it will take some time. Yes. So any questions? With respect to the last 2 points that we covered or anything? I guess if there are no questions, probably we can conclude the session over here. This will take some time for it to be done, but when you actually do it on your end, you can probably check this out. Like
Yep.
you'll have to wait for at least a few minutes, because in the case of scaling out, it has to take out an entire instance and give it to someone else, right? So it takes a bit of time when it comes to scaling out. Scaling in is much quicker as compared to scaling out. Okay.
Yeah, if no questions, we can conclude today's session. Thanks for your time, Prashant.
No questions. Yeah. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks, Harish.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining and giving these auto scaling groups sessions.
Yeah, no issue.
Yeah, Prashant.
It was really wonderful. Thanks a lot, Prashant.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Prashant. Thanks, Harish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Prashant and Harish.
Yep, thank you. I'll stop the sharing then.
Yeah,
And we'll
stop the recording. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.